Christmas Stories, chosen by Lauren Buckland, illustrated by Lara Jones. Holly and Ivy and Bar Humbug by Karen McCombie. Andrea, there's a funny looking dog rummaging in the bin bag outside. I frown in the direction of my dad, who has just yelled at my mum, Andrea, while I'm on the phone, about 10 centimetres away from him. Annoyingly, my dad doesn't notice that A, I'm on the phone, or B, I'm frowning at him. What's the big deal? I hear Mum calling down from the spare room, where she's unpacking the Christmas decorations to put on the tree we're all going out to buy this Saturday morning. It'll be Mrs. King's dog. She always lets it wander about on its own. Now, it's not Elvis, Dad bellows back, acting like Mum is on another continent instead of just another floor of our house. This one's kind of scruffy looking and white. You can hardly see it against the snow. Dad, I'm on the phone, I spell it out to him, but he just grins and mouths, "Bah, humbug," at me, and he carries on stomping up the stairs so he can yak on to Mum about some unimportant dog minding its own business and chewing on a bin bag or whatever. But anyway, Dad's not the only one who's bugging me while I'm trying to have a conversation. Let me speak to her. Can I speak to Auntie Judy? Please, please, Holly. That's my little sister, Ivy. Just like always, she isn't waiting for me to answer her. She's just trying to grab the phone while I'm still talking. All I can do to stop her, without resorting to thumping her, which I'm very tempted to do sometimes, no matter how cute and adorable Mum and Dad think she is to keep swivelling around so she can't reach the receiver. Hey, Holly, have you thought of a present you'd like yet? Says the voice in my ear, unaware that I'm struggling to carry on this chat uninterrupted. You know how I like to get some hints so I don't get you something you'll hate. The voice in my ear belongs to my Auntie Judy. She's calling from the Isle of Mull, which is Scotland. Actually, being an island, it's not so much in Scotland as floating alongside it. I don't get to see Auntie Judy too often, since she lives in a very long train journey, a very bumpy ferry crossing and a car ride away from us, but I really like her. Except at this time of year when she says insensitive stuff like, have you thought of a present you'd like yet, Holly? The problem is with the word present. I don't want a present. I want presents. 2 to be exact. Don't go thinking I'm being horrible and greedy. It's just that it's not fair having your birthday 2 days after Christmas. Everyone, including Auntie Judy and my grandparents and my mum and dad, has this infuriating habit of buying me a joint present to cover Christmas and my birthday, or buying me a big gift for Christmas and then getting me just a little fun and extra prezzies for my birthday. But it's not fair, is it? My best mate Saskia doesn't get a big present at Christmas and then just some bath bombs and a new pencil case for her birthday in June, does she? But that's what happens to me, just because I have the bad luck to be born on the 27th of December. Well, I suppose I would kind of like, maybe I'm sounding a bit half-hearted when I try to answer Auntie Judy's question, not surprisingly, but I wouldn't mind the chance of finishing the sentence. Unfortunately, Ivy has other ideas and bounces like a hyperactive Tigger all around me, finally snatching the phone from my hand before I manage to blurt to Auntie Judy that I'm pretty keen on this how to paint stained glass kit I saw in a local art shop. Auntie Judy, it's me, it's Ivy, my sister gabbles, keeping up the bouncing routine like she's most definitely Tigger and not a 6 just about to go on 7-year-old girl. She's bouncing because she thinks it's cute and adorable, and that I'll be so overwhelmed by how cute and adorable she is, that I won't make a fuss and try to yank the phone back from her. But the thing is, I can't be bothered. I know I sound horribly grumpy, but for 11 and a half months out of the 12, I really am a bright and happy person, except when Ivy is winding me up, of course. It's just that this whole Christmas birthday thing gets me ratty. And it doesn't help that Dad's nicknamed me Bar Humbug after some Christmas-hating party pooper in this ancient story he's into, just 'cause he can't see I've gone a bit ratty. And if some dumb nickname isn't bad enough, there's also the fact that I get teased something rotten about my stupid real name at this particular time of the year. Oh yes, since I'm in a moaning mood, let me moan a bit more about being called Holly. I got named Holly because I was born at Christmas time. Maybe it sounds sort of cute and okay, if only my sister hadn't been born exactly 3 years and 1 day after me, and Mum and Dad hadn't decided to get all inspired by the festive season again and call her Ivy. So we are Holly and Ivy, just like the Christmas carol. It's so wet and corny, as the kids in my class just love to remind me when Christmas rolls round. Ha! Darren Sharp laughed at me yesterday. Why didn't your parents call your sister Santa and Claus? Or Snow and Flake? Yeah, and why didn't yours call you Dork, I suggested to him, feeling my face flush holly-berry red with rage. Still, only my name and birthday are to blame for irritating me at Christmas. The one thing that can irritate me the whole year round is bouncing around the hall, about a metre away from me. Why did I end up with someone as annoying as Ivy for a sister? You're going to think I'm being mean and grouchy again, but seriously, all me and my sister have got in common is A, the same parents, B, lousy festive names, and C, the fact that our birthdays are so close to Christmas. Otherwise we can't stand each other. The TV programmes I like, she yawns at. The pop stars she likes, I think, are more dorky than Darren Sharp. Every time I try to talk to Mum and Dad, she bounces, bounds and yabbers away, so they get all starry-eyed and charmed and pay attention to her instead of me. Every time she tries to talk to Mum and Dad, I can't help yawning, because whatever she yabbers on about is so dull and stupid, I need coat hangers hooked under my eyelids to keep me from falling asleep. I don't know, I hear Ivy say to Auntie Judy, finally quitting her hyperactive bounding and letting her bare feet rest on the spot on the carpet. Whether Ivy still half expects me to grab the phone back or not, I don't care. I've lost interest and find myself wandering over to the kitchen windowsill and staring out. At a dog, as it happens. And Dad is right. It's not Mrs. King's Elvis. Elvis is fat and shiny and black-furred, but this dog is different. Its fur is white and dull and goes in all directions, as if it's been brushed by a madman, or not brushed for weeks. Narrowing my eyes, I decide that it can't have been brushed or fed for a long time, from the scruffy way it looks and the frantic licking going on with that empty tuna tin it's dragging from the bin bag. What are you looking at? Ivy's irritating voice pops up right beside me. Has she finished her conversation with Auntie Judy already? It was hardly worth her making such a fuss about grabbing the phone from me in the first place. A dog, I tell her flatly, keeping my eyes fixed on the snuffling stray outside. And I'm sure it is a stray. It couldn't look less loved if it was dumped in a bin bag itself. Ah, it's cute. It's not often Ivy says something I agree with. Usually when she speaks, she comes out with something so loud and irritating that I wish I carried earplugs around with me. But she's right, it is a cute dog. It's staring up at us right now with the soppiest honey brown eyes I've ever seen, all guilty and sad and lonely at the same time. Let's go out and pat it, Ivy announces, ready to haul the back door open and bounce outside, even if her feet are bare and there's a whole heap of snow on the path. Hold it, not so loud, it's nervous and you'll scare it away, I tell her. Go and put your shoes on while I get something for it to eat. For a few seconds we both silently bustle about Ivy pulling on her new winter boots, and me rifling through the fridge and finding some smoked turkey that Dad likes for his sandwiches. It's still there, Holly, Ivy mumbles, standing on tiptoes in her red suede boots and squashing her nose on the glass panel of the back door. Can we go and pat it now? But because I'm the big sister, I decide to be the one to reach across and slowly turn the door handle. It squeaks really badly, and I don't trust Ivy to yank it and squeak it so loudly that our scrawny visitor sprints off in alarm, sending the tuna tin spinning. Hello, baby, Ivy coos, wriggling through the gap practically before I've even got the door open. I peer out, half expecting the dog to be backing away, but it's still hovering nervously by our overflowing bin. It's shivering, Ivy says sorrowfully, and before I can tell her to be careful and go slowly in case it bites, she bounds over and wraps her arms around the neck of the startled dog. Okay, so it hasn't bitten her. That's a good start. But from the look of its manky fur, Ivy might end up with a few bites of the flea variety. Hey, doggy, want this? The dog flinches a little, as if it's more used to getting a smack from a hand coming its way than the offer of some food. But one cautious sniff and it realises its mistake and delicately snatches the cold meat from my hand, like it's worried I might change my mind and whisk it away. You're hungry, aren't you, doggy? Ivy whispers, nudging its head with her nose and probably picking up a few germs while she's at it. It's a stray hole. It's hungry and dirty and it doesn't have a collar. Maybe, I shrug vaguely, but I'm thinking exactly the same thing. Hey, Ivy, let it go and let's see if I can get it to come over to the back door. Reluctantly, Ivy loosens her grip as I walk backwards, holding out another turkey slice as bait. It's then that I spot a funny red mark on Ivy's skinny wrist, poking out from the sleeve of her lilac jersey. What's that on your arm? I ask her, flipping my eyes from the red mark to the timidly following dog. Chinese burn, Ivy shrugs, taking baby steps alongside the dog and patting it reassuringly as it makes its wary way towards me and the back door. How come you got that? I ask her, as another turkey slice gets gulped in one go. Got in a fight with Harry in my class, she explains. What about? I don't know Harry or anyone else in Ivy's class, apart from her best friend Melina, who comes round for regular squealing and bouncing sessions at ours. But suddenly I really don't like this boy I've never heard of. We did letters for Santa at school yesterday. No one was supposed to look, but Harry read what I asked for and told me I was stupid. I told him I wasn't and he hit me. So I thumped him back and then he gave me a Chinese burn. Then the teacher saw us and told us both off for fighting. That's not fair, I frown, as the white dog takes another few paw pads through the snow and swallows another turkey slice. I know, Ivy shrugs again, sounding very grown up and matter of fact about the whole incident. Hey, look, it's nearly there. Give it some more turkey, Holly. Yeah, okay, Ivy, I tell her, stepping up onto the doorstep and pulling another piece of meat from the plastic packet. What did that horrible kid think was so stupid about your Santa letter? What did you ask for? A new birthday and a new name. I guess I'd expected her to say a complete collection of Pop Idol videos or a trampoline for extra bouncing or some kind of doll's house for her stupid dolls or something. I hadn't expected her to want, well, what I wanted. But how come? I asked her, looking at my kid sister in wonder. Well, I want a new birthday because mine is too close to Christmas and no one ever gives me two proper presents. Even Auntie Judy asked me what I wanted as a joint present. Just now on the phone, says Ivy, twining her fingers into the white dog's fur. And Ivy is a stupid name, especially when I've got a sister called Holly. Harry and the other boys have been teasing it about me ever since we've been practicing Christmas carols for the school concert. Wow that my sister has the same grudge against our birthdays and our names. I thought she hadn't noticed. I thought Ivy was always too busy bouncing and charming the pants of everyone to care about stuff like that. And wow that I've been so surprised by what Ivy has just said that I hadn't noticed that we'd got all the way into the kitchen. Me, Ivy, and the white dog. Ivy is quietly closing the door and the dog is gazing around, sniffing the air for lingering Saturday morning breakfast smells. It still seems nervous, and I'm not exactly an expert on dogs, it looks kind of, well, happy to me. Holly, Ivy, are you two nearly ready? We hear Dad's voice call out as his footsteps begin thumping downstairs. Let's get shopping for that tree and see if we can't find you two a great present while we're at it. At the sound of Dad's cheery but gruff tone, the dog's honey brown eyes flicker worriedly from my face to Ivy's, with one ear tilted up and the other flopping down pathetically. Don't worry, it's all right, I tell the dog, reaching out and ruffling the floppy ear. Holly, Ivy hisses at me urgently as Dad's footsteps thump down the last few stairs. I don't care about present shopping. Can't we ask to keep the dog? Like a special Christmas and birthday present, all rolled into one, for both of us. The dog gazes up at me pleadingly, same as Ivy does. But neither of them need to plead. For only the second time ever, I totally agree with my annoying little sister. I don't care about a new pair of trainers, or a CD player, or a stained glass art set. I want this scruffy white dog. And I know it won't be easy. First we'll have to convince Mum and Dad that it's a great idea. And then we'll have to do the right thing and check with the police that no one has reported a missing white dog. And I bet 6 mince pies and a Christmas pudding nobody will have the state it's in. It's a deal, I smile at Ivy and the dog. Ivy seems about to smile back when she catches sight of our dad standing stock still in the kitchen doorway. Immediately she goes into full, bouncing, cute, adorable mode, and for once it doesn't bug me. Look, Dad, Ivy trills, jumping up and down, doing her best Tigger impersonation, startling the white dog while she's at it. It's a puppy. Do you think it's for us? Or is it an early birthday present from you and Mum for me and Holly? I'm the big sister, but suddenly Ivy's in charge, and when she zaps me in a quick sideways glance to help her out, I do my best. It's really friendly, Dad, I chip in, throwing an arm around the dog. It's definitely a grown-up dog and not a puppy. And we thought of a name for it already. It's called Bar Humbug. Humbug for short. The scruffy white dog pants happily as though living here and being called Humbug is the best news it's heard in a long time. Or maybe it's just panting at the last slice of turkey it spotted me holding in my other hand. Andrea, Dad shouts over his shoulder, a grin a mile wide spreading across his face. There's a funny-looking dog in our kitchen now. What? We hear Mum squawk from upstairs. But squawks or not, that grin of Dad's tells me, Ivy, and Bar Humbug, that this might just be the best Christmas birthday present any of us has ever had. Though maybe we'll need to ask Santa to bring us a can of flea spray.